Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog today. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, rock stars, I just got out of a training and the training was so confusing and I'm just so over it. I'm not going to complain though, you guys. How y'all doing today? Good. Listen, I don't think the power review is still not up as of right now. It's Tuesday and I am still waiting for YouTube to clear the flag. So you probably might be getting this top of the blogs before power episode 2 review. So I'm irritated about that as well. Yeah, today is not a good day, you guys. Thank God I'm off tomorrow. Anyway, got a few things we need to talk about. What's at the top of the list is the debacle at Real Housewives of Atlanta. Child, when you think about what's going on with Bravo, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha, Kenya, this new girl, Britt, it is nothing short of a disaster. And I'm sure the Bravo execs are pretty irritated about how this Sweet 16 season so far has presented itself. In my opinion, they really could scrap the direction that they were going, and they'll probably need to start over, namely because of the situation with Kenya. You know, they did tell us that Kenya was suspended indefinitely. I don't think we've gotten any official word, but all of the news media outlets are reporting it that way, and not just the blog. So, you know, I saw it on Entertainment Tonight, and I have seen it on many other credible websites. And so I believe that there is definitely some truth to that. I am hearing, actually, that Bravo wants to fire Kenya. Okay, allegedly. They want to fire her. However, they know that with that firing, it can probably cause a lot of issue, okay, for Bravo, and whether or not they really feel like dealing with this, okay? So, yeah, I have heard from let's just say a connected rock star who has told me, allegedly, that, yeah, Kenya doesn't want to leave Real Housewives of Atlanta. They feel that Kenya is an issue, is a problem with her doing this whole porn gate, and they want to get rid of her. Okay, irritation on the levels of like what Phaedra did with Candy, okay, and all of that. So, but like I said, they know that Kenya is not going to go without a fucking fight, and allegedly she would be suing them if they did do that. Okay, now we've discussed plenty of times here how, you know, even though the ladies don't make the money that they used to make back in the day with the huge contracts, you know, if you are a star on Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is still one of the top franchises, I mean, one of the top shows, one of the top cities of the entire franchise, you know, those girls are still making good money. Okay, and if you were a Kenya, if you were a Candy, you know, if you were one of the top Real Housewives that had been there a long time and had established, you know, your fan base, you know, your Porsha, your Kenya, your Candies, you know, then you were making good money, okay, and good money. And so I am sure that Kenya does not want to lose her good check, okay, because at the end of the day, this is a reality show that they don't really have to do much other than expose their life, okay, and to me, that is a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, what you really have to do for a couple of months out of your life, and for you to be able to get a check in the millions, then, you know, yeah, we ain't really trying to let that go. So Bravo has a problem on their hands, because on one hand, you know, if they did keep Kenya on, then I would assume that Brittany could sue Bravo. Okay, could sue the producers there, because now you've kept on somebody that has created this work environment that is not conducive to her being there, feeling safe and all that. You know, she could cry hostile work environment. And then if they get rid of Kenya, then, you know, they could get sued by her. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Bravo might get sued by anybody. It could be either one of them. And they're going to probably have to weigh whether or not, you know, they feel, you know, who has like the stronger case and all of that. But, you know, nobody can deny that Bravo has had like there's been all these whisperings by former housewives that have, you know, claimed that Bravo had certain issues, you know, racial discrimination, sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, all types of things there. And Kenya, you know, allegedly, if she did decide to sue, and if she has some things that will further push that narrative, then, you know, it could be bad for Kenya. I mean, bad for Bravo as well. Because even though Nene's case didn't really go anywhere, Bethany is now, you know, mixed up in it as well. And then if you add Kenya to it, yeah, Bravo could have they could have a mess on their hands, you know. So, but I do believe, you know, allegedly, that they are trying to weigh their options and try to fit. And I think when I say they, I say everybody, okay? And I mean Brittany, Kenya, and Bravo, the producers there are all trying to weigh how to proceed in this. Like I said in my you know, when I was talking about it on Instagram, I was just like, really, throw the whole season away. Just throw the whole season away and start over. But it's just too bad. You know, they have so many, they have spent, I'm assuming, okay, allegedly, they've spent a lot of money to bring Porsha back. And Porsha came back under the pretenses, you know, of them supposedly recording her life, okay, in this all of its grandeur. You know, she was married to Simon Guobadia, and she had this huge, you know, weekend, I mean, a whole week's worth of weddings, and, you know, all of the tradition and customs that come with African weddings. And she, you know, they were expecting her to be living in opulence and the big mansion and the, you know, the Rolls Royces and all of that. And then she decided to get a divorce, and Simon has been riding that girl so tough that she can't really make the moves that she wants to make. Okay, now when they got the divorce, or when she filed for divorce, she wanted to maintain the prenup that they had agreed to. I think Simon is trying to fight that prenup for a number of causes. Allegedly, he says that she has been cheating, and he has challenged anybody out there to submit proof that he has done the same, you know, because there were people that were saying that he was all moved on to other women and all that. And, you know, he is saying that that's not true. But on top of that, Porsha did put in, you know, like an emergency type of thing where she could film in the house. I don't believe that she was able to film in the house. However, she was given like a temporary residence, sole residency over the mansion, even though it does belong to Simon. However, she's not able to record in the house. Okay, so that's out. Okay, now we knew that they were going back and forth over this Rolls Royce. And we know that Simon had gifted her a Rolls Royce back when they got married, and the Rolls Royce is in his name. So while she still has the Rolls Royce, from what I understand, allegedly, he also put in a cease and desist where they cannot film, record, you know, take pictures of, video, anything of the Rolls Royce. So now they can't show Porsha driving this car, in the car. You know, she can't be in the house, or well, she's in the house, but they can't show her in the house. So nothing that is going to give us this idea that Porsha still got it like that, You know, they can't even show that. So it's just sort of like, well, what exactly do the people want to see about Porsha if they can't even see the fact that she's living her life? Okay? Still doing well, even with Simon not being there. Now, Simon has, like I said, been riding her ass, talking about how bad her finances are and how she really doesn't have any money and bad credit and all of these things. And yeah, so that also is a mess, you know. So they have their two top stars of the show, which really is not giving them what they were supposed to give, you know. And so I believe that, you know, from a source, Bravo is quite irritated with the lot that's going on in Atlanta this season. I still don't understand how they were able to, how Kenya was able to do what she did when it comes to this whole porn thing and showing the pictures. I did post the audio that was going all around social media where she actually is talking, and you can tell that is Kenya's voice. It's not Porsha's voice. I hadn't heard a real clear copy, but I did finally hear a clear copy, and you can tell that is Kenya. Kenya's calling her a whore, paid hoe, you know, she's, you know, her pussy out there, you know, Yo Gotti says, you Snapchat me that pussy, and you did, you know, she's an escort. And I mean, she went on and on and on, and from what we understand, that there were also pictures there. I've seen pictures, but I'm not sure if these were doctored up pictures or if these were like the official pictures that was shown there. You know, you can never tell no more. But they always said that Kenya also had pictures of big poster boards there that people were able to see as well. I just don't, for the life of me, I don't know why Kenya would blow up her own spot to this level. I know that Kenya can, you know, I think we all forgot how low down and dirty Kenya can play. And these type of moves reminds me of the season when Kim Fields was on there and how she just gave that girl the blues. And from what we were able to see, Kim definitely never deserved the treatment that she got from Kenya. Okay. And it was never anything that Kim did for Kenya to behave that way. So I'm wondering, in this instance, is this another one of those times where Brittany didn't really do anything to Kenya, but Kenya, you know, back in her full, like, I'm a villain, you know, trying to bring the heat. You know, that was the time when Kenya was the villain. That was definitely a time when people were really watching Real Housewives of Atlanta more. Okay, so now I'm wondering if she's feeling like she's got to get back to that to bring back the energy and the excitement of watching this show weekly. Does she feel like she just has to be back in this mean girl phase? You know, is it really a phase, or that's truly just who she is? Okay, depending on who you ask. Some people will say, no, that is definitely who Kenya is. I wanted to believe that she was not that way. And that when she had her daughter, you know, she kind of realized the bigger picture, kind of left all of that alone in her past, you know, see things from a different perspective. But it's looking like maybe that's not what the case is. Okay. Because everybody is still wondering, what exactly did Brittany do to Kenya to warrant her to come at her this way? And so far, I haven't heard what Brittany might have done. Yeah, I mean, you can not like a girl, you know, for whatever reason. Maybe you feeling threatened. I mean, I don't know why Kenya would feel that way. I'm just saying, you know, or maybe it is a hazing thing that they do when new girls come onto the show, because that's what Brittany said. Okay, that it was just a straight up hazing. And we see them do that on these shows as well. Okay, Giselle was well known for hazing anybody that's new that came onto Potomac. So it is something that happens. But to expose somebody in this way, regardless of whether or not the stuff was already made public, okay, you know, that is dirty. Like, nobody wants you to be putting themselves in these compromised positions just all willy-nilly out there. And then at your own event. Why sully your own event when you wanted to bring so much attention to the salon? And, you know, that was something that she always claimed was her baby, and she really wants to be on the level of a Mayel and all of these other black hair care products, Carol's Daughter and all that. All these even though Carol's daughter sold, but you guys know what I'm saying. All of these black hair care products that really have grown and exploded, you know, Kaleidoscope, she wanted to be on that same level, but then you've created and attached so much drama to something that you consider to be your baby. Is just sort of like, why did she do that? I've been trying to turn it around in my head, and I just can't figure it out. The only thing that I can maybe believe is that she was trying to get it back to that day. But to me, it will never get back to the heyday of Real Housewives of Atlanta, because it's not just Kenya. It was the group. It was the entire group. You had Nene, you had Candy, you had Kenya, you know, you had Cynthia, it was the group that made it happen. Okay? Not one person was carrying the entire show. All right? It was all of them. So now, when you have Kenya and she's just looking like she's attacking like the new girl, you know, that's not really a good look either. And then, like I said, what's going on with Porsha and allegedly, you know, them feeling like, you know, we done spent all this money bringing this girl back and we can't show shit. I mean, somebody in the comments said, y'all get ready to show to see the scene where Portia's at her house with her mama and Shamia and her sister, and her crying about how Simon did her so wrong and how she didn't know that this was going to happen and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, yeah, you already know that that's coming. Okay, you already know. But I think at this point, people probably, their eyes have been opened. And for many of us who would probably feel sorry for Porsha in the past, you know, with her even more recent moves, I don't know if that even is going to sell. Okay. And then side note, you guys, now this is nothing that I've gotten any kind of, you know, nobody has whispered this in my ear or anything, but I have just something about the body language at the opening of the grand, you know, reopening of Kenya Salon. When I saw Shamia and Porsha, something was weird about the body language. I don't know what it was. It could have just been me reading too far into it, trying to just look for shit, because it's just so much drama surrounding the show anyway. But I wonder what's going on with them two. Now, I know that they have recorded together, but I don't know. I'm really curious to see how their friendship, if the show does indeed come back, when it's scheduled to come back, which they haven't even told us the schedule. But if it does, I would imagine that it was probably coming back early in the year of next year. But now I'm wondering, like, how their friendship, you know, it just was something that I saw. It almost looked like Shamia was tolerating Porsha, or her patience was short or something with her. And it was even a part when they were about to take a picture, and Shamia was standing next to Kenya, and you could tell that Porsha really wanted to get in between Shamia and Kenya and take the picture with Cynthia, Kenya, Porsha, and then Shamia. And honey, Shamia stayed her ground, did not fucking move, and Porsha ended up having to get on the end and take the picture. And it was just something about that little, when I saw that, I was like, what's this about? What's this about? Okay, so it might not be anything, but it was definitely something that I picked up. I don't know. And it was something else that I've seen recently between them two that made me just, I don't know, my spidey senses. Okay. So, but yeah, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was waiting to see yesterday if they were going to announce that the girl had been fired. But you know, Bravo don't really say fire and all of that. They really just usually, I mean, I guess this whole indefinite suspension is kind of their way of saying fire, but it's not like official fire. Child, I don't know. But allegedly, everybody over there is lawyering up and trying to figure out how to move forward in this. Okay, so y'all take that as you want. We'll see what goes on there. And I guess when I know more, you guys will know more. You guys will probably know more before I do. I'm sure it is going to, as soon as it hits the blogs, it's going to be everywhere. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that Kenya should be fired for what she did? Do you think that this was going too far, going too low, or do you think that this is par for the course in the way that reality shows and the way that people operate now, okay, on these shows? Y'all let me know what you think, and let me move on to the next topic. Okay, you guys, so I don't even have my notes because I just got out of this training, and I usually print my notes out, and I don't have my notes, so everything is really off of the top of my head, so y'all already know how that goes. So let me just make sure that I do remember the stories, but you know, some of the details might be a little leery. Okay. Next story, let's talk about Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead. Is that what his name is? That is the bishop robbery that Jay Lee, you know, so lovingly has named. You guys remember him? He is the bishop in, what is it, Canarsie, New York. Let me keep this brain active, you guys. He has a church in New York, and remember we saw he was in service one Sunday, and they were live streaming, and they were robbed. Okay, supposedly took $1 million worth of jewelry from him and his wife. And that was kind of when the focus became on Whitehead. And that was when he was kind of exposed as being like this scammer and this financial fraud to many people, okay? Misled a lot of people, tried to get loans, business loans for hundreds of thousands of dollars. He misled his parishioners, had them investing in, you know, these businesses, these not even real businesses. Some of these people were investing their retirement money, their life savings and everything. And they said that he made in the millions off of his parishioners and these other people who didn't know better. And, you know, left them penniless while he's up here living high on the hog, you guys, and making all this money and the big house and designer clothes and all that. Yeah, finally caught up with him. And we knew that he had been found guilty, and now they have sentenced him, and he's been sentenced to 9 years in jail. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is federal charges since it's financial fraud. So he'll be in federal jail, which means usually you gonna do most of that time. Okay, I think like 95% of that time you gonna do. It ain't usually no getting out early. They also said that he has 3 years of supervised probation afterwards. And yeah, so he's got a lot going on now. Of course, he maintains that he is still innocent, and his lawyer, she is saying that, you know, they are definitely going to fight this and that there's going to be an appeal and all that. I think also he's been ordered to pay like $85,000 in restitution, and he also has to pay, forfeit like $95,000, which to me is really kind of him getting off easy. If he made millions and millions of dollars, okay, that means that there's a lot of people that are out of a lot of money. A lot of people aren't getting their money back, okay? Because 85 and 95,000, if you add that up together, that ain't even $200,000. And if he got millions of dollars, you know, so, and appeals do cost. So I don't even know, does he even have the money to pay for a lawyer for appeal? Because I know these lawyers ain't doing that shit for free. I especially when it comes to a Bishop Lamar Whitehead, you know, like, baby, I'm gonna need that check to go through first, considering the source here, you know, and everything that he's been through and what he's done. Even if the lawyer believes he's innocent, you know, you still need to move smart in them situations. So I don't know, but it looks like the man will be in jail for 9 good years. Okay. And maybe he can rehabilitate there, you guys. But I feel sorry for the people that will not be getting any money back. It's just sort of like, you know, it's gone. And, you know, this always brings us to when you go to a church and, you know, you look up to a person as the leader of the flock and all that. I just always feel like, you know, people will say, oh, he's just a man, you know, but I always hold pastors to a higher standard because they are in charge of the flock. Okay. And yeah, even as the flock, you know, you should be able to determine and, you know, use your what is the word that I'm looking for? You guys know what I'm talking about. You should be able to use your discernment to know when somebody is leading you astray. But everybody doesn't have that level of discernment, and people are able to be led astray, you know. And it's the fact that he has taken advantage of those people that might be young in the church, young, you know, may not just believe anything that this man that's coming from the pulpit, you know, you would like to believe that you would like to think that you can believe anything that a man from the pulpit is saying, that, you know, that they would have the ilk and they wouldn't be up there lying and carrying on. But yeah, so it's too bad that these people now are just SOL. Okay, just SOL. So I'm sure that they're glad that he's gone to jail. But yeah, he said he's gonna fight it, you guys. I don't feel sorry for him one bit. Okay, next story. All right, you guys, so next story up, let's talk about your girl Crisean Rock. Now, I did talk about Crisean last week, and I told you how she had showed up to Blueface's court hearing, and that he's scheduled, I believe, to come out. First, they were saying the beginning of July, I think, but then I just read before I started this video that he's going to be back in court on July 29th. Y'all, hold on, it's hot. Shit, I gotta turn this air up a little bit. So, at any rate, the man is going to be getting out of jail sometime this summer, okay? So, but for whatever reason, she decided that she was going to show up at the court, and I guess she just wanted to see her man, okay? And then she got arrested while she was there because she had a live active felony warrant from Oklahoma, and the police were there, and they were just hoping that if she showed up that they was going to be able to arrest her, and that's exactly what happened. So she's been in jail ever since that happened. Remember, she said that she was trying to get her team to work on it, and what it turned out to be is that while she was there, they ended up sentencing her for the assault against James Wright Chanel. Okay, so you guys remember that. That is, James Wright Chanel is part of Tamar's staff. And remember when Crisean Rock believed that Tamar Braxton had invited her to this concert that Tamar was having to perform there. There was all this confusion. They wanted her there for a twerk contest. She believed that she was there to perform. And after all this confrontation and back and forth and whatnots, she ended up hitting James Wright Chanel in his mouth, and she had rings on and ended up chipping his tooth. For a long time, James Wright Chanel would not even address it, didn't really say much about it, but we kept hearing it was that it had happened, but nobody had video of it. Nobody was really saying. At first, everybody was pretty mum's the word at first. And Crisean Rock kind of started to taunt them, like, you know, they lying, it didn't even really happen, because obviously she knew that there was no video, okay? And to me, I think that Tamar and her team really did want it to just go away. They were trying to keep it quiet enough where it would go away. But one of the guys on Tamar's team who blew the whole story was so mad. I mean, he was so mad that you would have thought that it happened to him, but it wasn't him. It was James. Okay. But he's the one that made that story get out there, because he got on like live immediately afterwards and blasted the story, and then the story just could never die. So finally Tamar admitted what happened and all that. But even when Tamar did say what happened, James still hadn't pressed any charges. It still took some time before he decided to go on and press the charges, but he still tried to keep it pretty quiet. I think because they knew that Crisean Rock had a pretty big following, and they just did not want that smoke. Okay, just didn't want to deal with it. But at some point, it was just sort of like, now this girl now is pretty much taunting you, like, you know, you ain't pressed charges. I mean, it must not have happened and anything and everything. So I think eventually he decided to go on and do it. And so now they have sentenced her to 30 days in jail for that. Okay, there is some suspended sentence too. It was a longer time, but they suspended that sentence. but she is going to have to serve 30 days in a Los Angeles jail. I think she's going to be in Linwood, California, in like some sort of regional detention. I think it's called Century Regional Detention Center. The brain, y'all. I'm trying to remember. So yeah, they do have her. She's going to be doing that. All right. But she also is being held on for extradition to Oklahoma, because Oklahoma still is not playing. Okay. And they want her to come back there and answer for the charges there. She has drug and trafficking charges. I mean, drug and traffic charges, not trafficking. Even though I think the drug charges are something like with intent to distribute. I don't think she was really selling drugs or doing anything like that. She probably just had a larger amount of marijuana, okay, or drugs, whatever the drug was. She probably had a larger amount, and so they were able to say that, you know, with some intent to distribute. But apparently, back in Oklahoma, when she first was in trouble and when she went before the court, they had told her that she needed to do 120 hours of volunteer time at like a homeless shelter. And I think she was ordered to pay. Was she ordered to pay something? I know it was community service, and it was something else, and she didn't do it. Okay, she ignored it, and that is why she still had that active felony warrant. Now, if she would have just went on and did her community service time, then she probably would not have had to deal with this now. But now that it seemed like you was running or you were ignoring this call, because she even admitted herself that she was aware of it. It was just that she was thinking that she could pay her way, because she kept on saying, you know, I just been trying to take care of stuff and pay for things. And it was just sort of like, yeah, but certain things you can't just pay for. Okay. So yeah, she does have a number of legal problems right now. Crisean Rock is this is nothing new for her. She's been in a lot of trouble over the years. Nothing super seriously, but as you continue to have like legal problems and all this and getting arrested in all these different states and everything, definitely not a good look. And her child, the situation with her child and all, I'm sure she doesn't want to lose her kid. And Crisean Rock has so many other issues as well. Like, I really feel like Crisean could just stand to get some intense therapy. I mean, we probably all could, okay? But just seeing how she moves, the girl needs help, okay? But you got to want to get the help. So, it's up to her at this point. And it's too bad. It's too bad. And then when Blueface gets out, well, now she'll be in jail when he gets out. So, he'll probably have the baby. And, it's just going to be ongoing drama there. But nothing is going to happen until she can settle some situations and shit with herself. We know that she has family issues and just a lot of issues, you guys. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. You can't just decide to ignore warrants and shit like that. So, I mean, I'm hoping that, the girl lands on her feet and all. I've talked about her 2 times in the last couple of weeks, and that is something that I don't want to do. So, we'll keep our eye on it. If it's really something that needs to be reported, then I'll let you guys know. But other than that, y'all know it's just the same old same shit, different day. Okay? So, yeah, let's move on to the next story. Oh, you guys, I know there was one more story that people are going to want me to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it much because I don't really know much information about it. I don't watch TGIF. I just don't watch that show. So I don't know much, but of course I do know about all the chatter that is going on with Claudia and Armand and Al Reynolds. Yes, I did see the birthday roast that was done from Armand to Al, and just for me being an outsider and watching that, it just was like amazing to me that Armand, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, would talk about not only his co-host, but kind of felt like he was sabotaging the show with his dialogue. It was just sort of like, but this is a show that you are on, you know, and even if all of this is going on in the background, why would you bring everybody into it, you know, and bring all of these things to light and talk about the person that, you know, even though I think that people did already know that there was at best a contentious relationship between Al and Armand, because I had heard that previously, so that wasn't surprising. But it was just like, for him, it went from being, you know, and roast can be kind of harsh sometimes, but you can usually still feel the camaraderie and the laughter, the joke underneath. When he was talking, it didn't feel like it was camaraderie. It didn't feel like it was joke. It felt like it was an expose, like it was somebody that was letting people in on all the things that have been going on behind the scenes there. And like I said, you're on that show, you know, you are a personality on that show. So it didn't seem smart to me to bring that to everybody's attention. Now, of course, I have heard people are saying that, you know, Claudia fed him that information so that he would say those things. And I mean, he had to get the information from somewhere. He hadn't been there long enough to not know. I mean, he hadn't been there long enough to know a lot of those things, you know, to the extent where you could actually really say it. So that kind of stuff definitely comes from somebody who has been working in that environment and can feel whatever the atmosphere is there, you know. So he probably was fed that stuff. And but yeah, I just was like, not smart. And so now we know that TGIF was supposed to air. Now, see, I don't know the dates because Deborah watches it. So Debbie is the one that's always on it. And she, oh, girl, it wasn't on again. It wasn't on. It was supposed to come on. It was, and child, so I don't know when it was supposed to come on, but according to Debbie, it still ain't on, and how much of a mess it is, you know. And that's too bad. I know that they have been trying to. They probably did lose a lot of viewers when Funky Dineva went back to doing his own YouTube channel and not being on that show any longer. So they probably did lose some views. But I think that they still had a pretty healthy following. But, you know, this stuff going on and bringing controversy to your own show, to me, is just like, I don't know. It just seems like that's not right. Like the best move. Not the best move, you guys. So that's it. That's pretty much all I'd have to say. Hopefully they can get it together, because, you know, don't nobody need to lose their good money. Okay, don't nobody need to lose their good check. They had a really good formula that was working over there at one time, so I don't know why it can't be like that anymore. But the fact that it hasn't come back is making me wonder whether or not they've canceled the show. And again, that would be too bad if they did. I mean, everybody there are known names now, so everybody would land on their feet. But, you know, why give away a check if you didn't have to? You know, me, Capricorn, I'm always thinking about that fucking bottom line. Like, how can I make this work? You know? So yeah, that's too bad. It's unfortunate what's going on over there. I hope everybody can get it together, you know, and get things back on track over there, you guys. So yeah, that's it for me. What you guys think about it? Y'all talk all about all that down there in the comments. All right, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna get on off of here, get on back to work, get this edited, and get this up to you guys. I am feeling so defeated today. I just am feeling so down. Anyway, you guys, things get better always, so, and I know that. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna get on off of here, you guys. We do this every single week, Tuesdays and Fridays, you guys. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars.